It's been said that his legacy is complicated because of a sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it. Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful at this time. It's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, well, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that that's how we should leave it.
Gayle King, out of pocket for that. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that? I swear to God, we the worst. We the f***ing worst. We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why are y'all attacking us?
I've been up reading the comments about the interview I did with Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant. And I know that if I had only seen the clip that you saw, I'd be extremely angry with me too. I am mortified, I'm embarrassed, and I am very angry.
We your people. You ain't coming after f***ing Harvey Weinstein asking them dumb ass questions. I get sick of y'all.
So for the network to take the most salacious part when taken out of context and put it up online for people who didn't see the whole interview is very upsetting to me, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with them.
Funky dog head. How dare you try to tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you.
She is not doing well because she has now death threats and has to now travel with security.
What I look like wants some harm to come to a 70-year-old woman. I was raised way better than that. I didn't want no harm to come to her and didn't threaten her. All I did was said, respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you. Bitch, before we come get you.
And she's feeling very much attacked. You know, Bill Cosby is texting from, is tweeting from jail.
Gayle King.
I publicly tore you down by coming at you in a derogatory manner based off of emotions, me being angry at questions that you asked.
Overreacted.
I should have handled it way different than that. I was raised way better than that. So I would like to apologize to you publicly for the language that I used and calling you out of your name and just being disrespectful. I didn't mean for it to be like that. I was just expressing myself for a friend that wasn't here to defend himself.
A lot of people look up to me.
And they love me and they appreciate me, so I want to let them know that anytime you mess up, it's okay to fix it. It's okay to man up and say that you're wrong. I apologize. Hopefully we can sit down and talk privately. Have a good day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. Now that Snoop Dogg and Gayle King have made nice, what is the lesson that we learned, black folks, behind all of this mess? Well, one of the things we learned is when former Press Secretary Susan Rice, who is rolling with the United States government of all things, gets in your ass, then you damn well better apologize. So I can't help but wonder, Snoop, if your apology came after Miss Rice tweeted what she tweeted, because after all, nobody rolls as deep as the United States government. You definitely don't want them crawling up your behind. But anyway, two important lessons in my opinion as to what black people should learn from this is, number one, no matter how high up you go the ladder, Gayle King, you black, and it's always gonna take one of us, somebody like a Snoop especially, to remind you that you black. And with the history that the media has of screwing over black people, all you did was add to it by doing what you did. So let's get down to our cast of characters and get right to the nitty-gritty, starting with Gayle King. Your interview with Lisa Leslie was supposed to be about her thoughts on Kobe Bryant, and instead you turned it into nothing more than a Kobe rape show. For people who are in media, especially for those in news and print journalism, there is an old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. That means what you take are the most salacious parts of your story, and you use those salacious parts as a hook to get people to watch or read what it is you're talking about. Everybody in media does it because that's what we're taught to do. Gayle King, you do it, I do it, CBS does it, CNBC does it, CNN does it. Everybody does it. So truth be told, when you go to a hockey game, you're waiting for a fight to break out on the ice. When you go to NASCAR, you're waiting for a car crash. When you go to a boxing match, you're waiting for one of those fighters to knock the other fighter's head off of his shoulders. And when you're watching porn, you are waiting for the money shot. You're waiting for the most salacious parts of whatever it is you're looking at. But what you don't do is try to throw somebody under the bus like you tried to throw CBS under the bus for doing exactly what they're supposed to do and doing exactly what they know they taught you how to do and what they hired you to do. What makes you think that CBS is not going to review that footage and they're going to look at Lisa Leslie talking about Kobe Bryant's basketball jerseys and Lisa Leslie talking about Kobe Bryant, his obsession with Michael Jordan tapes, and oh, there's rape. There's rape right there. We're going to run with rape because everybody's going to respond to rape. So you couldn't have been that shocked and that appalled because you're the one that brought it up. And instead of asking one question and letting Lisa Leslie just go on with her interview, you wrote it and you wrote it and you wrote it. And that is what pissed everybody off, is the fact that you didn't let it go. Let me ask you something, Gayle. If CBS were to ask you to do a retrospective on Elvis Presley, would you bring up the fact that he's a child molester? Because after all, Elvis Presley was dating his future wife when she was underage. So technically, Elvis Presley was R. Kelly before R. Kelly was R. Kelly. But whenever somebody does stories on Elvis Presley, all they talk about is the fact that he's the king of rock and roll, which, by the way, he is not the king of rock and roll. Little Richard is the king of rock and roll, but that's another story. We never talk about Elvis Presley dating underage girls on top of possibly all of the underage girls that he messed with during his career. But we always talk about Michael Jackson being a child molester, even though he was acquitted of all charges. We always talk about O.J. Simpson being a murderer, even though he was acquitted of all charges. And now Kobe can't escape the rape charge because you bring it up when you should have well enough sense to know that black people, especially black men, get an unfair shake when it comes to some of the stories that the media presents about them. Now, since you think you're doing the responsible thing and bringing up the fact that Kobe got acquitted of rape charges, why don't you ever bring up the fact that the girl that accused him of rape had up to 6 different semen samples inside of her when they checked her out, which means she wasn't nothing but a Class A skank. All Kobe was a come up for her. She thought she could get some money out of Kobe Bryant, and when she had to go to trial, she neglected to go to trial because she didn't want the world to find out how much of a Class A skank she was. So if you're going to cover Kobe Bryant's rape acquittal, also talk about the fact that he got acquitted because the girl was a skank looking for a payday, and she thought she was going to get it off of Kobe Bryant. You are a step away from losing your ghetto pass, Gayle King, and as we all know, when a black person loses their ghetto pass, they've got nowhere to go. So when that system uses you, turns you out, throws you back out on the street, all you got are your own black folks. And when you piss us off enough and we don't want nothing to do with you, nobody's going to want anything to do with you. All right, now let's move on to Snoop Dogg, bruh. You threatened her. And you know you threatened her. And every black person from the most college educated to the most hood rat street nigga knows what you said was right. But because you are who you are, because so many people follow you and you got some knuckleheaded moron out there that will follow up on that threat that you made. If Gayle King is out at the store, if she's walking down the street, if she's doing whatever in public, some idiot would run up on her because you said what you said and do harm to her. So you did the right thing and you apologized, and you and Gayle King, I guess, made nice behind closed doors or whatever. Snoop Dogg is consistent with what he believes in. It ain't like he just picked Gayle King out of thin air and checked out on her, because he checked out on Kanye too when he nutted up talking about black people was responsible for slavery.
So you really think niggas sat around and did that, you dumb motherfucker? You need some help, cuz, for real. No jokes aside. Whoever in that house with that nigga need to get him some fucking help. Psychiatric treatment. Not no fucking pills and opiums and all that goofy shit he been on. Maybe some working out, fruits, water, juice, and some black women. For starters, some real black women to cuss his ignorant ass out. Goofy ass women around him.
But Snoop, you're not entirely innocent when it comes to this, because you use the same salacious language in your music to hook people the same way Gayle King used salacious language in her interview to hook people. So remember, Mr. Bitches Ain't Shit but Hoes and Tricks, and Mr. Rat-a-tat-tat never hesitate to put a nigga on his back. You are guilty of the same thing. The only difference is that more hood niggas relate to you than they relate to Gayle King. Now let's move on to Kobe Bryant. We love Kobe. We are going to miss Kobe. It was absolutely horrific what happened to Kobe Bryant and his daughter, but Kobe Bryant is not an angel in any of this. So when Snoop says to Gayle King, how dare you tarnish the reputation of Kobe Bryant, I'm sorry, Snoop, but Kobe did that to himself. You had a beautiful wife, a beautiful life, and you messed it all up, messing around with some skank, knowing full well that when everybody found out about it, the media, more so than anybody else, was going to ride you damn near for the rest of your life behind that nonsense. So why would you even do that? But once again, no matter how high up the ladder Kobe Bryant was, he never lost his ghetto pass. So when it came time to stick up for that brother, Snoop Dogg stuck up for him, I'm sticking up for him, and everybody who knows that the media, I'm going to say the white media, okay? Why don't we just say it like it is? The white media has a history of vilifying black men in the media, vilifying black men in the news and the press. So when you start doing the same thing to Elvis Presley, that's when I'll shut up. And last but not least, Bill Cosby, how dare you try to blame black women for your downfall and try to blame them for trying to destroy the image of the black man. You did that yourself, number one. And number two, how are you blaming black women for your downfall when the overwhelming majority of the women that you raped were white? You're not tweeting from a penthouse. You're not tweeting from a condominium. You're tweeting from prison, and you're in prison because you're a rapist, Bill Cosby. You know that book you wrote a while back, Bill, called Come On People? Well, why don't you write a follow-up now called Come On, Bill, Are You Kidding? If the media got it right, they got it right with you. America's dad turned out to be America's degenerate. Your wife, a black woman, stood by you all this time, even though she knew you were a sick freak. She stood behind you and had your back. And now you're going to turn around and blame black women because you got yourself in jail for drugging and raping women. So we don't need you tweeting from behind prison bars. We need you to, well, I tell you what, how about we let Eddie Murphy tell us what Bill Cosby needs to do?
Tell Bill I said have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up.
And I'm going to tell you something. As much of an elitist as Bill Cosby has been, as much of an educational elitist, because Bill Cosby didn't care about nobody black unless they were in school. Never mind the fact that some people just can't afford to go to school, don't want to go to school, but he looked down on people like Snoop Dogg, people like 50 Cent, people like all these sagging pants, hood rat, thug niggas that's speaking up for him now that he's been locked up. So congratulations, Bill. I don't know if you ever had a ghetto pass, but you got one now. Black people have a very bad habit of being duped in this society. They think because they've got a lot of money, they think because they are high visible celebrities and whatnot, they think because they can run around with all the white women in the world that they are somehow equal to the system. And the system, as Snoop puts it, as 50 Cent puts it, as I'm putting it, will always take the time to remind you where your place is in this society. If we can ever get past that, that's wonderful. I'm all for that. But the reality of the situation is until we look at Elvis Presley the same way we look at Bill Cosby, the same way we look at O.J. Simpson, and I'm just using Elvis as an example, the same way we look at Michael Jackson, when we put them all in the same boat, then that's great. That means we're treating everybody with the same measuring stick. But we know that that's not the case. So Gayle King, have a little bit more sensibility when it comes to dealing with black folks in the media. You should know better. It's always going to be an Uncle Snoop to remind you who you are and where you came from. You might not like how he says it sometimes, but Snoop Dogg absolutely positively told the truth. Kobe Bryant, we love you, we miss you, but black men, stop putting yourselves in positions to be vilified if you don't want to be vilified. And Bill Cosby, this is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying,
have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up.
Think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.